What is the biggest butthole move that a teacher ever pulled on you or your class? My high school English teacher suddenly required all papers and assignments that have been graded, with the grade written on them, not a copy, for the class be put together in a packet and turned back into her at the end of the year. That was 1 week away. I was one of the few that had all of them still because I never cleaned out my backpack, but got an F anyways because they were not in order. Found out she did this because she lost her grade book. She wasn't around the next year. He made us fill out a form where you wrote personal information about yourself. He said no one would read them except him. There was even a special section where you could tell the teacher any really personal issues that would be just between him and you. At the end of the year, the teacher read everyone's forms out loud and made us guess who wrote them. He even read my confidential personal section. It was periodic day in my 10th grade English class and my partner didn't write his essay, so I had nothing to peer edit. My English teacher gave me an F for the day because I didn't submit a peer edit. When I explained the situation, she cackled and said, "Not my problem." I hated having to do group work because of things like this. Divvy up the responsibilities of the project. 3 out of the 5 people do their work, but the whole group gets a crap mark because of it. Teacher, it's not my fault your group members didn't contribute. Well, don't punish the rest of us for them being lazy. We had this foreign kid in Algebra 2 honors. It already dawned on us very early in the class that he knew it all and didn't really do much besides help other students when they needed it. Our teacher refused anything that had pen on it. Assignments and tests were to be done in pencil. Now throughout the school year, this foreign kid would only use pen and subsequently failed all the assignments and tests, which were of course correct in every way possible. You could tell he didn't give 2 shoots because he really enjoyed helping us. So what does she do? Starts failing everyone that's acquainted with him because he's setting a bad example. B was forced to regrade everything properly once we complained, resulting in our grades being available to us late. She didn't return the following year. A 10th grade dance teacher assigned a research paper on a famous dancer to our class. I wrote one on Mikhail Baryshnikov, and when we got them back she had written, "You plagiarized. Rewrite it or get a 0. I came up to the teacher after class extremely upset because I had never plagiarized in my life. I asked her if she had even checked my sources to see the information I had read in order to write the research paper and cite it in my bibliography, and all she could say was, "My aide, a senior drill team member, said she couldn't even understand some of the words you chose." I went to the vice principal and she made the teacher regrade it. I got an A, but every time I think about that dumbass teacher my blood boils. In the 80s I had a HS career counselor tell me that there was absolutely no future in computer programming. It's weird my dad told me a similar thing happened to him. For my GCSEs, I asked my textiles teacher to put me in the higher tier paper, more difficult, but a chance of an AC grade. She agreed. When I turned up on exam day, she'd put me in the foundation tier, which meant the highest grade I could get was a C. I was absolutely furious, and when I confronted her about it she just shrugged and walked off. My geography teacher did this with a guy. Everyone else was in for the higher tier but she put him in for foundation level. He didn't find out until the day of the exam when he got his paper. I suspected my English teacher disliked me because I was a smart-assed, sarcastic kid in high school. Well, I knew that, but I actually suspected that it was affecting the way she graded my essays. I was quite good at writing my thoughts out and always felt that I should have received better than the 68-72% range I kept getting. Had her 2 years in a row. Swapped essays with a friend for whom I edited his work, and we both handed in each other's as our own. He ended up with 92% and was featured in front of the class, and I got 71%. We never told the principal for fear of, I don't remember, but we had a reason. Regardless, it peed me off and I was happy to finally get a new teacher the following year. Chem Prof. A is for God, B is for me, and C is for the best students in this class. And the bastard was not kidding. I hate professors that do this. I went to Catholic school and had an art teacher that wouldn't give 100s on any assignment because only God is perfect and giving a 100 on anything would be blasphemy. Teacher called me out during class in front of everyone, asked me if I lost weight, and when I said yes said, "Well, I bet you are bulimic. You look bulimic. Try not to throw up your lunch afterwards." Holy freaking crap, this is not okay. My 4th grade teacher hated me, for reasons unknown. I was a quiet kid, so I don't know what her deal was. She used to watch me like a hawk, and as soon as I made an error, she pulled me up to the blackboard and shouted, "Okay class, bro just made an error in her math book. Just in case anyone else doesn't get it, we'll show you how it's done." When anyone else did the same thing, she just calmly said, "I have noticed some of you may have problems with whatever. I'll show you." My 7th and 8th grade math teacher would stand in the front of the class and point kids out and ask them how they were that stupid to not understand the material. By the end of the year she made a girl break down and cry. She ran out of the room to the bathroom, where the teacher followed her in and continued to yell at her. She also made jokes about a black friend of mine, then Amish people. She just got an award for being the top teacher in our district. I thought my crazy ass math teacher was kidding when she said she won Teacher of the Year. Turns out that she really did. First day of summer online class. Professor emails us to announce that the failure rate for this class is 93%. Also, we have 50 days to do a team project to produce a minimum 250-page document on a fictional 4-hour charity event, worth 63% of your grade. Doesn't announce teams until end of first week. Previous semester's teams have produced documents in excess of 600 pages. The real kicker is that we have to do it using Microsoft Project 2010, which she emailed to tell us she would not explain or help with at all, and is not available anymore. So we have to go to the on-campus library in order to use it, because we get points docked if we use the 2013 version. 23 days in and we're only 41 pages in. I hear some of the other groups haven't started yet. My HS physics teacher asked, in front of the class, if I was breastfed. I said no, I was adopted. He responded with, "That explains a lot about you." I responded with, "Hey, I heard you're living in a trailer now." Ex-wife pulled the long straw, huh? Neither of us reported each other, and he passed me. Upvote for not being a P and standing up for yourself. When I was in elementary school, we had a very strange teacher. Once a classmate spit on the feet of another. The teacher made him wear a sign saying llama during the following recess. Another story, once a student who came from a kind of poor family came to school with a shirt that has countless small holes on it. She marked the holes with a pen on the shirt. We were probably too young to know that this is very fricked up. We only felt sorry for our classmates. Okay, the llama thing would be pretty funny if it was with older kids, but the holes in the shirt thing is really fricked up. Guidance counselor in high school meets with a group of us and asks each person what university or college they're planning to apply to and what program. She offered advice to each person, gets to me and says, "You'll be entering the workforce? Do you know what jobs you'll apply to?" I was P. My grades weren't great then, but why not talk to me about why or something productive? I was accepted to university, did a postgrad, and I'm doing a master's part-time while working full-time, and I'm pulling straight A's. Not much really sticks with me, but knowing how she treated me means she probably does the same to others. I have always thought about taking my degrees, pay stub, and job description to her and telling her she can't just make those assumptions. Freaking do it. Nothing makes me angrier than seeing people talk down to others about ambitions. That's why I'm becoming a teacher. Tired of seeing so many dreams crushed because of bad teaching counseling. Had a teacher throw erasers at us in 8th grade algebra class for being too stupid to learn math. I threw the erasers back. In year 10, an art substitute teacher threw an eraser at my friend because I asked her, the teacher, not to draw on my work. She was insisting there was a shadow missing from a still life thing I was drawing when there wasn't. First grade, I had to pee really badly. I asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom. She said no. Held it in for about an hour, but couldn't hold. Asked her again. She said no. Hour later, I couldn't hold it in, so I peed in my chair. She got angry and told me to clean up my own mess, so I cleaned up my own puddle. After puberty, I had a disorder that caused me to twitch similarly to Tourette's, but it was just caused by the hormone change in my body. I had a teacher yell at me in class saying I was making a scene and faking it. She sent me to the office, and I don't think she was a teacher much longer. I also remember a sub in 6th grade calling us a bunch of little fricks. We didn't see her again. A history professor at my college gave us our midterm exam, and the next class we went over it question by question and graded another student's test. We get to when did the Vietnam War begin and someone replied 1954. The professor says incorrect and everyone begins to mutter and talk among themselves. Finally someone says but the war did begin in 1954. People start to back him up but the professor stands up and yells the war began in 1959. I know this because it's right there on the Vietnam Memorial. The US wasn't involved until then, so that's the only answer I'll accept. He didn't even give partial credit for 1954. I had a teacher who gave the class an assignment to write an essay about why the war in Iraq was happening. Then he flunked all the essays that didn't agree with his own opinion, which involved a mass conspiracy by mega corporations. Brought an essay to her early to look over because I needed a good grade. Told me that it was good and met all the requirements and only gave me one small thing to change. Got it back 2 weeks later with a C. Similar thing happened to me. The teacher actually told me that if I left the essay as is, I would be guaranteed at least a B. I worked on the things she told me I could improve. Got the essay back with a D. Your best friend dying isn't an excuse for not doing your homework over the weekend. He told people not to hang out with me because I was going nowhere in life. I had teachers say things like that. Oddly enough, I'm much more comfortable than the kids that were told that 10 years down the road. If we lost a competition, our physics teacher would make the losing team wear chicken masks and dance. Once at the end of the dance he said to me, "And like a chicken you'll never get laid with dancing like that," with quite a lot of sincerity. The whole class laughed. What a dong. 4th grade. Went to detention for saying the words yeast infection while in line going to lunch. Girl ratted me out. Had to go to D hall instead of recess to write a letter of what I did, but didn't understand what I said or why. Frick her. My math teacher in high school pulled several. Gave me a detention for whispering when the whole basketball team was talking very loudly. Also threw a penny really hard at my head and said he just wanted to see how high it would bounce. Also the school pooled students from several elementary schools in the area. When I asked him to explain a math problem he asked which school I was from, took that as an explanation, and didn't help me understand the problem. My year 10/11 maths teacher always made fun of my handwriting in front of the whole class. Comments like, when you're in your exam, make sure the examiner will be able to read your writing. I'm saying this especially for Thegramaroonicorn and Thegramaroonicorn. You should ask person sitting next to me for handwriting lessons so you'll actually pass this exam. I gotta be so frick you hum. Ha, your handwriting looks like everyone else's handwriting on this site. I corrected my AP US history teacher on something really nonchalantly that he should have known, who the president before Lincoln was, and he totally handled it poorly. Started yelling at me for making a fool of him in front of his class. I had a teacher when I was in 5th grade who hated me. She played favorites. Thought I plagiarized an essay. It turned out I was just advanced for my age. But I mean, this was honors 5th grade. Why did she attack me, fail me first, and was generally insufferable? She talked about her sex life openly to 5th grades. Well, one day, my mom and her had a meeting. At the end of it, she turns and soberly says, "I can't like every student. Yeah. You found the leaf of life. Subscribe and it will bring you immortality." Well, maybe. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.